All right. Good evening or morning. Happy weekend. Happy Monday. Whenever you choose to look at this. My name is Bryan Smith, and I should have already, or I'm about to share this letter with you as far as like what we're doing, what Lit In is all about. So this is the beginning. I'm gonna be very quick, if you will, or quick as possible. Please excuse um, just any any blurred speeching or just miss um, like what I'm doing now, but let's get through this here. Okay, so I told you I was going to send a video, trying to make it 6 to 8 minutes and all this stuff. So here's what we're going to cover: what Lit In is, framework, schedule, pre and post assessment for Monday or Tuesday, because that depends on how quick we can get things printed and get back into your hands. Digital resources, teamwork makes the dream work, filling vacancies, um, and other stuff. So thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting the position. I do speak a lot about the culture and how much is appreciated. Um, Here's a link right here to where you can, so that you click on and say, hey, I did look at the video. Bryan, you did go over 8. You might, but don't tell me that. I'm gonna do my best to get under that. Or you can scan here, and that shows that you did look at the review to the best of your ability, but it's also a spot on there for questions. But I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Well, maybe I'll get to that right now since I brought it up. Um, okay, come on. Let's see. Uh-oh. Oops, can't take that right now. Um, so this is what it's going to look like: a lit in or a lit and self-guided tour. Just put your name, and then also the location where you're teaching. And then, did you review? Just hit yes or yes, sorta. And then, do you have any questions or concerns? And that we'll be able to look at that, provide you immediate support. So that's what that looks like. All right. So let's get into what lit in is. What lit in is. So, and by the way, um, this is definitely an accommodation or just an alternative method, um, or an attempt to share information. There was a lot of challenges that we had, but I think this will help get us in the right direction. But we also have a whole lot of built-in support, so just bear with us. Uh, Next year, spring break after school, if Lit In exists, um, there's usually a meeting. Um, and we have like first face-to-face commentary and questions and share resources and all of that stuff. But we're just going to make do right here. All right. So, Literacy In, affectionately called Lit In, is Dr. Marshall's brainchild, if you will. So, he imagined um, community vendors being combined with certain programs to keep and engage kids in learning. So, there's literacy and karate, for example. So, oh, I'm not even sharing the right slide. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh yeah, okay. There we go. All right. So just combining, um, let's say, lit and karate. So students who are interested in martial arts, they'll sign up, or their parents will sign them up, and the book in which they practice literacy skills under the direction of instructional assistants and teachers and other coaches um, happens while they're reading a story about a student experienced karate in life. And then for a portion of the day, and in the summer, it's 90 minutes. A karate instructor would come in and teach the kids karate. And so this is across the board for all the programs. There's a topic book that is high interest of the kid. And then there's an instructor that comes in. So we got everything from ranging from robotics to soccer to aquatics / environmental science. So it gets pretty fun. All right, so let me go back to the presentation. Oh, I'm still here. All right. So I'm gonna skip past this. Um, there is, and you'll see later on in like the framework, there are links that helps us to understand the 5 pillars of literacy. So here's a video right here, but I think this particular video is linked in on the framework that you receive, and I'll get into that as well. Um, but just for myself, being middle school certified, there was 2 things I wasn't used to when I started working for Lit In. One, an instructional system, and then 2, understanding 5 pillars of literacy or having awareness of it. So you get into phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary comprehension. Our our elementary school teachers are geniuses. They train them for this. They study this stuff. So I got to hang out with a lot of cool elementary school teachers and do my own research. And so I could appreciate the approach to literacy in these 5 pillars. So I do encourage you, if you're not familiar with that, or if you just want to brush up, there are some hyperlinks that you'll see on the framework that I shared with you, and I'll point that out later. All right, so learning targets, let's see. Let's go ahead and go. I definitely appreciate you being here. So I just want to give you your flowers. Thank you so much. You definitely see my admiration of your being here right after you've done a whole year. Let's see here. Let's go into it. Okay, I want to pause right here for a while. I want you to get a really good look at this. And I'm gonna see if I can send this out as a screenshot, kind of like somewhere else, because this shows like, the teams and locations. So for instance, all the Blues, Breckenridge, Franklin, the program is aquatics / environment science, and Miss Walter and Miss Rhodes will partner up and do that. The site lead for the whole entire site is Miss Bunker. We do have assistant coordinator who's like program wide. That's Miss Harden. We have a master instructional assistant or a lead instructional assistant, Miss Prince. We have a teacher support. Nope. Oh, we have a teacher support, Miss Munker. We have ECE support, which is Miss Thomas, and we have ML support, which is Miss Jacob. So all of these folk right here. And you see the other programs here, tennis, Mr. Herp and Miss Beeler, and then soccer is Miss Herp and Miss Jackson. So these are the programs that are going on. So it's the same thing for CDC. You see the paired up here within the programs, and then the site leads and ECE, ML support, instructional assistant support, teacher support, and then so this is the CDC is the Bates CDC Community Development Center. Now also SAT, well that's short for satellite, and you see the programs here, and you see the team, Mr. Calvert, Mr. Craycroft, Miss Fuller, Miss Mosby, Miss Ellison, Miss Pendleton, and then you see the support staff right here for that. Site lead, Miss Trumbo, ML, Miss Smith, teacher support, Miss Tran, IA support, Miss Forrest, ECE, Miss Tyler Walker, and then I do want to point out here right here, my site lead for CDC is Dr. Rogers. All right, and then I said Miss Bunker, Dr. Rogers. So they will be running the sites. All this folk over here will provide a lot of support with whatever it is that you need. Okay, now I'm going to move to the next slide. Then this slide right here dealt with nutrition guidelines as far as like documenting things, documenting the lunch. Now I was told that nutrition services would provide help at Breckenridge Franklin, and then I also think satellite, but not CDC. They won't be handing out lunches at CDC. Now we'll wait and see, but I just want to put that out there so that we can, this one less surprise that we have, right? So I don't have to go through the training because all of our IAs did the training, and so we got enough qualified folk in there to where we can just roll. All right, so let's see here. More than attendance list. Okay, well, actually, I want to kind of go by what I said, what we talk about, because it's kind of a more of an abbreviated thing. So we went over what Lit In is. So let me go to the framework. That's next. So I'm looking at something on my phone. I took a picture of that list so I can make references to it. So apologize if I'm talking fast. I'm talking faster than normal. And it is 8:45, and I may be kind of misspeaking a bit, but just be patient with me. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I believe I shared. Oh, well, I got to share this. I always forget to share. Excuse me. Share this tab instead. Okay. So now I'm sharing the framework. Let's see. So my intentions is to, yes, I shared it with everybody. So you do have access to this as a viewer. And you'll see, okay, our staff arrive at 9 or by 9. And we're all going to focus on RL 4.1, that standard. So that is, referring to details and examples in the text explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text. So these are some learning targets you could use here, but craft them for yourself. Teachers and instructional assistants, you are the artist. You've had a whole year, you've had whole careers of teaching kids. You know what works, right? So that is very important that I emphasize. That thing that you do, that thing that you know works, that you love to do, how you teach, you have the autonomy to do that. You are the artist. Uh, Craft your skills, craft your movement toward moving babies, um, using standard based on standard RL 4.1. And I'll talk a bit more about pre and post assessments in a second. So these are some question stems here that you could use. So as you're reading the text, the book, you may want to stop and make up a question based on these right here. But once again, you're the artist. You may have even more innovative tools for getting babies to be familiar and to use the skill set of RL 4.1. All right. Usually we do 3, but we're just going to focus on 1 this year. So we just have that standard. Now, once again, these are the links right here for the 5 tenets in YouTube video. If you got some time, just check it out. Just kind of bookmark this and just kind of check these out later on. Now, this also has a 5 pursuits activity. I do want to talk about that. So your instructional assistants in the classroom, we had a great time working together on this, and it's really like a great level set that you can use to get the babies on the same page. So I'm gonna click on it. Let's see, do I have it already? Yeah, I do have it up. So I'm gonna go to this one. Okay, stop share this tab instead. Here we go. All right, so make this bigger here. So the idea is that Dr. Ghoda Muhammad came up with a way to make reading very engaging with the 5 pursuits. She actually came to the district a year or 2 ago. There's a YouTube video in here so you can hear talk.
So, Dr. Muhammad,
there's a time I'm going to go past that. But these are the 5 pursuits: identity development, skills, intellectualism, criticality, and joy. And the way she has is that you can apply these questions to anything, right? So for instance, number 1 says, how is this message relevant to the world around you today? And so I made it like class-friendly language. And keep in mind, I am middle school certified. I didn't introduce myself formally to everybody. So I wrote it for like 6th, 7th grade. But you can take this question right next to this hyphen right here and reconstruct it to meet the needs of babies that are 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, or, because you'll be able to discern once you meet them. So it says, how does this connect to you and others or the world? So each one of these statements with a hyphen is the question reconstructed. And each one of these questions help the babies to achieve these skill sets under the 5 pursuits. Now, do you have to do all the questions? No. Can you do 1 and have a great time and a great discussion? Yes. Can you do 2 and have a great time? Yes. Some of you have such a great discussion that you want to do all 5? Sure. Now, check this out. The idea is that you have a picture or a text or an excerpt. I'm just kind of going to click. That's an excerpt, a picture, right? And you're getting the kids to reflect on this one way or another using one of these questions. And so there's a worksheet in your binder that has just this kind of framework right here, just this box, and then it has these questions. And so the kids can write them in, but later on everybody's going to get a notebook and a pencil, You can just put up a question and then show a picture and have them to write in their journals or in their notebooks, and then have a class discussion about that. Now, here's the thing: you do not have to use. And see, this is a video right there, so it can be used for media, excerpts, music, lyrics, things of that nature. So you don't have to use these pictures. You don't have to use these ideas here. You can actually find a piece of art. You can find excerpt of a text. You can find a poem. You can incorporate so many things in that. But to get the babies to kind of think and to share and kind of develop that culture of thinking and allowing each other to kind of allowing them to feed off each other really helps with the efficacy portion of the pre-assessment. And I do believe I'm going to get to that next, how the five pursuits actually help with efficacy and helps to create a community of belonging. Trust me, your instructional assistant, your co-teacher, your co-educator. I want to thread that term co-educator in your classroom, so that we know that we're creating a shared learning environment for our babies and for ourselves. So, your co-educator in your classroom. We had a ball with this. So definitely lean on them, communicate with them, communicate with each other, rely on each other for your expertise when creating these learning environments. And you'll have a great time with this for sure. In addition to getting supports from your site leads, your IA leads, your teacher supports, we're very familiar with this. It's marvelous. Now let me go to, okay, I said something about pre and post assessment, how the five pursuits help with student efficacy. Well, I want to take you to, do I have it pulled up here? I may not. Well, just in the interest of time, I'll just go back to the presentation for now, just to the original presentation. So on Monday or Tuesday, I mean, look like it's probably going to be more likely on Monday or Tuesday, depending on how quick we can get things printed off. We're working on an assessment right now. There's going to be assessment given to students. Now, it's not like a CATS test type deal, or CATS, that's old school. A states test or whatever. It's not like anything like that. But there are 6 questions, and all of them will present excerpts from a story, and students will answer questions that are based on standard RL 4.1, which is citing. Now, the last 3 questions of that is it asks kids if they, how do they feel about themselves? How do they feel about reading? Would they recommend their friends coming to the program? Because we want to focus on their efficacy as well. And what we're looking for, we want to be able to see if there's improvement so you'll give one either the first or second day of the program. And then, like, let's say the following Thursday, or well, actually the Thursday of the second week, maybe even Wednesday, Thursday, you'll give the same pre-assessment, or you'll give the same assessment. And then we'll be able to gauge, or you'll be able to gauge, was the growth with standard RL 4.1, or were they already rocking that out? Or was there no growth? Also, with the student efficacy, was a sense of belonging, did that increase? Did students feel more confident in themselves? Things of that nature. And then you'll also find that we generally give parents a survey too, because they tell us what they see with the kids at home. And then, of course, we survey staff because we want to improve the services. Now, albeit, we already know that like today's 529, we were still hiring people and trying to interview folk and all of that stuff. And of course, we're doing this thing kind of like virtually, right? And I think I'm getting too close to like 4 minutes right now, if I haven't gone over. So I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. So so we already know that's we're making do. So this is not a typical thing. So we got that part. We just had some strange challenges of this year. But I would like for you, when you take that surveys to think about your encounters with students, to support, um, things of that nature. And just, yeah, and just think of ways that constructive ways that we uh, can improve the program. Um, but I mean, it is what it is. If uh, growth is growth, and we're in to improve the experience. All right, let's see here. Okay, so standard, we're leaning the standard R1, five pursuits. Let me see what's next. I talked to you about pre and post assessment, which is the same thing. You're just going to get like 60 copies of the same thing. So 25 the first day or the second day of the program, and then like 25 you'll give the following Wednesday or Thursday of the next week, and then you just kind of observe and measure that. Let's see. All right, next, digital resources. All right, this is very, very important. Let's see. Okay, I want to share this one. Okay, so y'all have been given access to this tonight, this evening. So you'll find your program and you'll see the location in your program. So you'll just scroll over and you'll see, Breck tennis, environmental science, which is also aquatic, soccer, CDC dance, CDC DJing, so on and so forth. And you will see, your students that have enrolled here, right here. And so the way this is set up here is that will attend, you click that, you say yes or no. And here's the thing, there is another list that I have for you that I've just shared, I do believe, and to where we can see who's already reserved so far. But what we'll do is you'll take roll on a daily basis, take roll before 10 o'clock, because I have a lot of people that want to hear the numbers, and I have some people looking at the numbers. So you'll take roll by 10 o'clock. So for instance, the babies are coming in at 9:30. They're eating breakfast from 9:30 to 10. Um, as they're coming in, just kind of check them off, right? And what you'll do, you'll just get let's see, let me go here. June 1st, it's already dated. So you'll hit present or absent. Now, and those are the dates across. All of this over here is the contact information. Now let me get into this really quick here. So on the first day, second day, and third day, what we're going to do is I want to explain something. There's always a trend of like when you have 25 students registered, on average 13, 17 maybe show, because things happen. And those of you that do Success League and Backpack League, and you've done leading before, you know the trend. If you've ever done your own PD or you've done a book study, I mean, it's the same thing with teachers as well. So this year, I took it up to 30, close to 30, and all the classes. Now, here's the thing. On Monday, when you have no shows during your vendor block, because it's 90 minutes. First of all, someone always stays with the kids. Don't ever leave a vendor alone with kids. It's in their contract, it's in ours, all of that stuff, right? So don't leave a vendor alone with kids. But what you can do during the 90 minutes, and you can work it out with your educating partner and all of that stuff. But you'll call the no-shows. Just call the no-shows. I'll show you that pre-reservation, is that the confirmation list, excuse me, in a second. But call your no-shows and see if they're coming, right? So, put who you talk to and are they coming, yes or no? And this column right here is a photo release. You will have access to binders. And if you don't have a binder, or if your binder from some reason was misplaced, and that was done before it ever got to you, we understand the circumstances. Let us know if you need photo release copies, if you don't have a binder or don't see them in your binder. You click yes or no because we have media that comes through. Okay, so here's your role and all that stuff. But on the first day, during the vendor time, call parents and see if their babies are coming. Now, Let's say at the end of the day, you got 25. Leave it right there. Leave it at 25. Okay. But let's say if you have 20, okay, I'm just stick with 20 because I can work with the math on the top of my mind, right? So let's say on the first day you have 20. What you're going to do, you are going to go to, so this is, what tab is this? Um, okay, this is chess. So what you'll be able to do, let's say you need five more to call, right? Because you have five absences, or you have five people not that are not coming. They told you, and that's fine. And I'll explain this orange in a second. So you're going to go to the Google form right here, and these have been placed in like order by camp. So you're going to scroll down and look for satellite. And I'll explain the yellow. The yellow is the waiting list. The red is the baby's like age. They didn't make the age requirement. So we don't mess with the red. And the yellow is for your section is the waiting list. So you're going to scroll down. So we're looking for satellite. See how it goes, Bates, 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 and all of that, right? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Let's see. Eventually, we're going to hit satellite, the satellite section. Okay, right here. So remember, we got three programs of satellite. So this one is chess. Okay, all these are chess. So all these names are lines that are white. These are the ones that are in your class, right? It's a screen for some random reason. Don't worry about that. All right. But when you get down to your waiting list for, what am I doing? JCB chess. I'm sorry. Did I get down to chess? Okay, I'm in robotics. Oh, well, chess was short. Okay. Okay. All right. Chess was shorter. So there's not much there. There is no waiting list for chess. Okay. So let me choose another example. So let's say robotics. Okay. You get down here to the yellow. All this yellow right here is the waiting list for robotics. What you'll do, once you got 5 vacancies because you're trying to build up to 25, you're going to call the parent or guardian here and say, hey, we have an opening. We have an opening. And let's say the first 5, and all 5 of these say, yeah, we'll bring our baby on Tuesday. Absolutely. And you give them some information. So you highlight the 5. And then since I'm doing robotics now, and you go here, and then you'll add like 5 in here. You'll like copy and paste and just add the information over here, and then add the students' names over here. You got staff that are helping, like your site lead, and then also your instructional lead and your teacher support and different folks that can help you do that as well if you just need a reminder. Because hey, y'all, just because I'm saying it don't mean I'm explaining it well. It's just because you're hearing it doesn't mean that it's taught. I mean, and so we're just making do. So do be vulnerable to say, hey, I don't know. I need help, because this is not a typical situation. But even if we were face to face and we had a whole training in 2 hours in the traditional sense as the way we always done it, still, it doesn't mean that just because we're face to face and I said it that I explained it well, right? Okay, so you'll add them here, and now you got 5 babies. Now, so on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you're going to continue to call to build up to 25, not 30. You're going to build up to 25. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Come Wednesday, Thursday, let's say somebody said they were coming. Maybe you had 5 to come, and then 8 said we're not coming back because we've had, different families have planned or something happened or whatever. So then that puts you at 17, right? And it's Thursday. Well, stop. Roll with the 17. So we'll work on our numbers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday, it is what it is. Then I'm gonna tell you this. I want you to have fun. I want you to be creative. I want you to have a good time. I want you to help and to create a loving environment. I want you to work together. I want you to do all of this stuff. Now, let me look at my time. Did I even go back to this? Okay, I did. We're still on this. Where's my time? I can't see my time on this, but I'm over 8. Okay. But let me pick it up. So, and I don't mind you having 17, especially after you have done your due diligence Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right? Work with the 17 and do your absolute best and have a great time. Make sure the babies are having a great time. Make sure they feel special that they're seen, because you may just have to be the best thing that happened to that child all school year, right? So so cool, right? Because I do want you to have an easier time. I do want you to have a more relaxed time, a creative time, and to be an environment where, like I said, where your creativity, your artistry, because you are the artist, is celebrated and acknowledged. Now, on your integrity or Scout's honor or whatever, on your moral, whatever it is that you hold dear, I want you to do your best. Your co-educators, to do your best to get that number to 25. As much as I want you to enjoy yourself and to have an easier time, maybe have a slightly smaller class by that late Wednesday, that Thursday. Um, I love those babies more. Now, here's what I mean. Let's say you're at 17. I still want you to call on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get that number up, because there may be 8 babies out there that don't have anything going. They won't get attention. They won't be loved. And I'm not saying all of our babies come from dire situations. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Some of them have, most of them, I want to believe that all of them have beautiful lives and have supporting systems and families and all of that stuff. I'm not saying that that's the case for that's not the case, or that's not possible. But it could be that, let's say, the 2 out of the 8 that you said, hey, come on in, we got vacancies. Maybe 2 of them don't get hadn't got attention, hadn't gotten been esteemed all year. Maybe they're worried about the home life. Maybe it's just a summer of dread because they're not around their friends and they don't have a safe place to go. But you can be that. You are that. So I care about them as much as I care about you. I care about them more. So on Scouts Honor, your team, get them numbers to 25 as best you can. But come late Wednesday and Thursday, it is what it is, and we roll forward. Okay, I'm not mixing my words. I'm standing on business with that. I love them kids more than I love you. And I talk to most of you on the phone, but I've never seen them. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I love you. Yeah, you. I'm choosing it. But I love them babies more. So do your best. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see what's next here. Ooh, I think I'm gonna hit 15 minutes. I don't know. I'm trying to get y'all out of here. Let's see. Well, you know what I mean. All right, so let's see, pre and post assessment. Okay, I can't show you an example of pre and post assessment, but I told you, kind of gave you the basic structure of it. Let's see, digital resources. Yes, let's get into that. So, I do want to explain more about this sheet. Down here, you will see plant operation number, your vendor's number, your site leads number. Some schools have logistics as far as what classrooms to go to and where you can, where you can eat lunch. Then I want to explain this data box down here. Now we're all doing RL1. I made this before we made this determination here. So you'll click here because that's what we focus on. And of course, you give the pre-assessment, you'll notice a trend. Now, after you give the post-assessment, you'll put we notice, and there's some statements here, growth with standard, drop in standard, or no growth. So you select that because you're not only going to give the assessment, but during that vendor time, you and your co-educators are going to look at that together. And we have like some support staff too. They'll come around and ask about the assessments, what you're seeing, what you're noticing, uh, how are you leaning in standard one, what do you need more support with? Hey, is your nutrition forms are up to date? And that may vary because, like I said, nutrition services they would hand lunches out, but we'll see how that works because we don't want to wait to the end of the day and just be putting a bunch of check marks and stuff. And then right here, as far as the efficacy, because remember those last three questions of the pre-assessment is designed to see how kids feel about themselves. So you're going to put, you notice increase, decrease, or no growth. And that is it. So you come to this every day. Oh, now the orange, we have ML support. So this helps us to identify babies that may need ML support. So every location will have a ML teacher there to help. So we got that. So just take roll, and they already have access to this as well. So they'll be popping in the classroom to provide ML support, and then also we have ECE teachers that will also offer support as well because they have their own list of students. You just don't see it because it's like confidential or whatnot stuff, but they'll be in and out of the classroom helping as well. So it's a lot of built-in support. Okay, so what's next here? Now, even though I'm talking this and doing this and I've gone over 8, I know there's stuff and details that are missing. So when you do that survey or the thing to say, hey, I listened, I clicked on links and all of that stuff, make sure you put your question down or your concern. And then also just be vulnerable enough and transparent enough to say, hey, I didn't exactly get the type of training that I'm accustomed to because Bryan said he had to compromise, and I understand. And once again, I do apologize for that. I want you to feel good about Lydian and so on and so forth. But now go back to like what you're saying, right? Yeah, I didn't get, I had questions. There were some gaps in information or something, or he kind of went fast or whatever. Hey, what about this? Perfect time to ask that designated instructional assistant, that teacher support, that site lead, and so on and so forth. All right, so digital resources, I guess we're ready for that. Yep. All right, so this will be fun. Hope you guys are having fun. I'm having fun imagining you nodding and going, oh, okay, Bryan's a pretty cool cat. Think this will work. All right, let's see, share this tab. Let's say, okay, all of you have your own individual 40 to 60 slide, on average 60 slides of culture. Well, I'm not ready for this one. Hold on. Well, actually, let me do this right here because this sets us up. So you have like 40 to 60 enrichment slides about culturally responsive stuff pertaining to your specific session or camp. Now, we do this because we're definitely supporting the existing policy of 2018 racial equity policy for JCPS. So let me scroll here. Let me scroll through here. Now, this is part of a book study that I generally do called Cultural Responsive Teaching in the Brain, and the author is Dr. Zaretta Hammond. And I wanted to show you something here. She talks about how in the in the field of education, people think that if you just mention, a football player or someone's name, or you put up a picture of a certain group of folk or a diverse group of folk, that's culturally responsive. You're going to get the kids hype about learning, and it's just going to get them going. Well, I got news for you. That's not the case, and you know it, right? I myself, I know. I thought when I started teaching in 05 in the classroom, middle school certified, roughly 21 years with the district. This is my 4th or 5th year outside of the classroom. But I thought I was cool. I thought I'm a bald-headed black man and I wear a bow tie, and these kids are just gonna love me. We're not gonna have any problems. Not at all. They saw me like a figure that represented the institution that may or may not have provided them with a good experience, may have or may have not provided a good experience with their parents and guardians. And so I was henceforth, I was like their op. I think that's what the young kids say. That means opposition. I might be, yeah, I think that's what that means. So it took more than just the color of my skin and the way I looked to connect with kids. And so Abraham talks about the science of culturally responsive teaching. And these are actually, am I sharing this? Yes, I am. So she talks about, and I'm kind of just clicking around. If you're interested in this book study here, maybe you own the book and you want the book study to go along with it. She talks about neuroplasticity and how the brain actually grows new neurons, and how culture uh, is the software for the brain. And she says the brain is like the hardware. And so you make those connections. So, so for instance, I got a nephew and I was trying to teach him how to do mixed fractions, add mixed fractions. I couldn't get it. I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't explain it. But then I observed him watching Troll Hunters. And in Troll Hunters, the character, he collects little fragments of stone to make a big amulet. And this amulet gives him a certain power. But here's the thing, there are a lot of pieces everywhere, and there's different types of amulets that gives him different degrees of power. So I began to use that to talk to him about fractions and how those fractions eventually become whole numbers and things of that nature. And we've been troll huntering it ever since. So making things relevant, culturally relevant. So it's very important to understand the science of it, which I find interesting. Let me say this real quick. If we was in person or doing this book study, I would say this. Teaching is the only profession that does not that focus on brain development, but does not provide teachers with the scientific background of brain development. Like when I went to U of L, I didn't get one class on like cognitive development or neuron plasticity. I guess there's a better word for it. I'm going to say brain science. Maybe it's neuroscience. Um, and I'm like, what we work with minds, right? So having this text, let me go back here, really opened my eyes, and it's a lot of fun when we do have those book studies. Well, that's not the picture of the book. I thought I had one in here. I'll just leave it right here. Um, so if you're interested in this PowerPoint and you want to get your own book, because I don't have enough, I don't have copies. I used to, but I don't have copies for you. Let me know and I'll share this with you and you can get your copy and all of that stuff. But that brings into why we have, or why you have for your class, your own individual, I'm gonna say 40 to 60 on average, culturally responsive slides. Oh, now here's the picture of the book right here. Yeah, so now you see that. So let me take you to the slides. Let's see here. Not that one. Yep. Okay. I hope that, because I'm not even looking at my Google Meet. I'm pretty sure I'm at 20 minutes. But I hope it's switching around as I switch this. So for instance, this is lit in karate. So here you have, of course, it's mentioned the R tool and the ICANNs, you can, you know, and all this stuff, HBCUs. But let me get on down here. Look at this. It talks about the how Africa dealt with martial arts, developed the earliest stage of martial arts, the foundation of it, things you probably wouldn't know and take for granted. Look at this, different styles of fighting. See the styles, there's videos in here, different fighting techniques around the world with these excerpts. Okay, my button's kind of jamming on me. What's going on here? Let me try this one. Oh, it's a video coming up. That's why. So there's excerpts in here. African samurai. Now, right here it gets kind of long because I put a lot of stuff in there. That's too much. That's not too good. Feel free. There was an African samurai. True story. And I just took excerpts from the book. Right here, there's folk that use martial arts as a way to do mentoring. So there's clips in here, videos, excerpts, and it goes on. And I'm clicking way faster than it's popping up because it's a lot of videos. And then there's like some how to do certain moves and stuff like that, right? And it's Afrocentric. It's something that babies can see and be like, oh, everybody does it. Everybody, oh, this is cool. I see myself on the screen. I see a diverse world of it. Yeah, man, this is where it's at. So that is the point. Activating that using cultural responsives to further get babies interested in reading. Now they're seeing the world beyond uh their desk, if you will, and they're making that connection and they're learning about fighting styles and the history of it and all of this stuff. There's so many connections to make. That cultural responsiveness, that's a science. I know it's a dirty word now, that they made it a dirty word. Cultural responsive diversity and um what inclusion and DEI, like, because you can get votes when you demonize those words. But here's the thing: there isn't anything that's really learned that hasn't been adapted or been taken in with a cultural responsive way. If you're cooking, if you're, I'm not gonna go down that road because it's a beautiful road, but just in the interest of time. So just let me know if you want the book study stuff, and you can check it out for yourself. All right, let me get back to it. All right, now I want to take you to, we're almost there. Okay, so that's digital resources. I did share the 5 pursuits. I'm telling you that you have the and also, like, lit in karate project. So for instance, at the end of the 12 weeks, on the last day, parents and guardians are going to be invited in to do like a closing ceremony. So the vendors will demonstrate stuff, and these vendors, they've been working with Linen for a long time, so they know about the closing ceremony and what's expected. And so your kids will be able to, so everything that you do in the classroom, have the closing ceremony in mind. Like, how can they use this to present and show what they know and share what they know? They can talk about the book, they can show this and that, they'll do demonstration with the vendor and all of that. But even within the Afrocentric slides that you have, there are some suggestions as far as like projects that kids can do. Now, you don't have to take all of it. Let me go back here to the framework. You got the pursuit. It should be pursuit of 5, but it says pursuit if 5 activity. But I'm gonna leave that on because I don't want to mess with the link. But then it also has like the recommended time and schedule and all that stuff of the framework. And then you notice that, the before and after reading, the reflection, it starts to tell you, oh, right here, Afrocentric. So you can thread that stuff in. You don't have to take all of it. You can take pieces of it here and there, just enhance what's happening. Maybe it's a part after lunch, or maybe a part after the activity, right? Or maybe it's something that you show or share with them while they're eating, depending on if you're eating in the classroom or in the cafeteria. You'll have to see the logistics where I showed you on your row sheet at the bottom. Now check this out. Let me see. Let me go to, because there's something I want to point out here. Now, Google Slide Gold, teach points. Now, not everything in those slides are wonderful. I'll just tell you the truth. All right. So what I did is I put Google Slide Gold. So look at this right here: soccer, aquatics, / environment science, tennis stands, karate. This is all the stuff that we're doing right here. Find your program, and then look at the topic idea right here, like soccer history, strategy. Slide 16 through 44 is gold. Slide 1 through 15, I was off. I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't hit. When it comes to aquatics and environmental science, slide 13 through the end is gold. I mean, you're going to win all the way, because aquatics is about living with water and all of that stuff, right? Tennis, the inclusive world of tennis, 11 to 50, you're going to see a lot of history, a lot of athletes, past, present, and future. Well, past, future too. Yeah. So it's a lot of gold. You won't miss with those slides here. So what I'm doing is I'm encouraging you to go to the Afrocentric slides that you have for your topic and go through and look at these slides. Just take some time and look at these slides. Make sure the videos are working, they're class appropriate, and you can, and all of that stuff, right? Because sometimes people change YouTube links and all of that. Karate, 7 through 20, you're gonna win. 21 through 38, it gets flat and boring. Don't do it. Just go to 39 and 51 and then review those and figure out how you can thread it in. DJing 14 through 40. Oh, you gonna get them with that one. I'm talking about highly engaging stuff, like really excerpts, clips, videos, all of this stuff, right? Explore this stuff. Um, Kids invent technology with the robots. 10 through 40 ain't nothing but gold. And then 65 to the end. Look, I don't went past 65 adding that stuff up. I got so excited. I can't say how far. I just know you go to the end of it and you win it. I mean, it's stuff like check it out, figure out how to thread that stuff in there, right? And then chess, origins of chess, master kids, like kids that have mastered 12 through 30, because it falls flat a little bit, right? Um, so you got that. So I'm gonna leave this up for like maybe 60 more seconds. So check your thing out. Now you gotta be like, okay, Bryan, I'm with it. I see the signs, I heard the signs, I appreciate the signs of cultural responsive teaching. We do it in our schools. I get it. Uh I saw you had the karate one up, you know. But when do I get mine? Like, when am I gonna get it, man? Like, I want to check it out. I'm looking where you say gold is gold, right? You sound like you know what you're talking about. Okay, so today's Friday, 5/29. I anticipate sharing the Google Slides with your individual Google slide with you um tomorrow, and if I got to take it into Sunday as well, you're gonna find that I shared just some Google Slides with you and gave you your access, and so then you have it. The cool thing about LinkedIn is I don't mind you having stuff. Matter of fact, uh, and because you got babies coming to you next year, right? So go for it, right? So you'll have access to the stuff before the weekend's over with. I'm gonna start sharing slides with you. Just look for them Saturday by 5:30. It may take me a little bit into Sunday, but I'll get it to you. And I'm going to share it with you, your co-teach, your co-educator, so teachers, instructional assistants, um, uh, teacher leads, instructional leads, like everybody's going to get this stuff. Let's see what else. So now I got teamwork makes the dream work. Okay. Teamwork makes that dream work, period. I've said it, I've said it, I've said it. Matter of fact, I think the glue of the program are my instructional assistants. I love them. Oh, I love them. I got a chance to sit down and meet with them because we were able to do a training a day early, and we were able to hire him and get him in and talk to him. Phenomenal, phenomenal, and it's been that way every year, every year. So teamwork makes that dream work. Whether you are instructional assistant or you're teacher, or you're not used to having an instructional assistant, or you never had one, it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure. In 10 Toes Downs, the one that we got for this program, we were blessed. Period. All right. So I'm not saying teachers ain't a blessing. I'm not saying that, but I'm just telling you, I was able to spend some time with them, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that with the teachers. I talked to most of y'all over the phone, and y'all some cool cats too, right? So I believe the world that we create in our locations is just going to be beautiful. All right. So teamwork makes the dream work. In addition to folk that also support staff. Let's see, filling vacancies. Oh yeah, I talked to you about like going back and calling and trying to get 25 on up till like late Wednesday to Thursday. Or Thursdays is what it is, right? I love them. I love you, but I love them students more. And then other stuff. Y'all ain't got nothing else. I think I done went 25 minutes. So I'm done. So that's it. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube. Then well, by the time you see it, this don't make sense to explain. So anyway, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend. Make sure you do that survey so that you get paid and feedback stuff. I'm done. All right. Uh, Go lit in. All right. Let's see. I need to stop. Oh, stop recording. There we go.